Hey there. Have you ever been stuck in one of those conversations about the weather, just desperately searching for an escape? Well, if that's you, you're in the right place. Today, we're diving into the psychology of why some of us just can't stand small talk. And, get this, why that might actually be a hidden superpower. So, does this feel familiar? You're at a party, maybe a work thing, and all the surface level chatter just feels exhausting, right? It's not that you don't want to connect with people, it's just that these kinds of conversations seem to drain your social battery faster than anything else. And that feeling right there is the heart of it all. Feeling drained isn't some kind of social flaw. Psychology actually suggests it's because your brain is built for a totally different kind of connection. You're not awkward, your mind is just literally hardwired to seek something deeper. All right, so here's our game plan. First, we're gonna unpack that small talk struggle. Then we'll reframe the whole thing with a little science. We'll look at the psychology of connection, get into some real-world tips for managing her social energy, and then we'll wrap up by talking about why this tendency of yours is a genuine strength. Okay, first up, the small talk struggle. This is all about breaking down that core conflict and those negative labels that people who prefer deep conversations often get stuck with. So this is absolutely crucial to understand. Hating small talk doesn't mean you've failed at being social. Not at all. It just means you have a really strong built-in preference for meaningful interactions. You're not looking for less connection, you're looking for a higher quality of connection. So if it's not a social failure, then what is it? Well, that brings us to section 2. We're gonna flip the script and move away from the social myths and toward the psychological reality. This is all about reframing things from awkward to simply deep. This really lays it all out, doesn't it? On the left, under the myth, you've got all those labels we hear, or maybe even tell ourselves. Antisocial, lacking social skills, just awkward. But then look at the right, at the reality that psychology shows us. Antisocial becomes a craving for authenticity. Lacking social skills is actually high mental processing. And awkward? No, that's just being wired for depth. It's a total shift in perspective, from seeing a problem to understanding a different and frankly more complex way of processing the world. So let's get into the science of connection. We're gonna look at a couple of key concepts that really explain what's going on inside your brain when you're stuck in a shallow conversation. So, the first big idea here is something called cognitive depth. Okay, think of your brain as this super high-performance computer. It's designed to crunch complex, meaningful data. So when you feed it really simple, repetitive stuff, like, talking about the weather for the 5th time, it just gets bored and feels underused. It's not being lazy, it's literally being starved of the complex stimulation it needs to really get going. And working right alongside that is a craving for authenticity. This is the emotional side of the coin. Imagine you're hungry for a real nutritious meal, but everyone around you keeps offering you plastic fruit. That's kind of what small talk can feel like. It looks like social interaction, but it's missing the genuine substance your mind and your heart needs to actually feel connected. Okay, so now we get the why. Let's talk about the how. How do you actually navigate a world that's basically built on small talk when your brain is wired like this? This section is all about practical strategies you can use. The number one strategy is something called social energy pacing. Honestly, the best way to think about it is just like managing your phone's battery. You know how some apps will drain your power down to 0 in just a few minutes, while others barely make a dent? Pacing is just being conscious of that, choosing to prioritize the interactions that recharge you, and putting a limit on the ones that leave you at 1%. And here's pretty much how it works in practice. First, you've got to recognize that for you, deep conversation is fuel. It's what fills up the tank. Next, you have to accept that small talk is, for you, a drain. It just is. So from there, you can start actively choosing interactions that give you that genuine connection you're looking for. And ultimately, you're saving your energy for the people and conversations that truly matter to you. And that brings us to our final and I think most important section. It is time to stop looking at this trait as some kind of weakness and start embracing it for the powerful asset that it really is. Honestly, this says it all. While a lot of the world seems perfectly happy splashing around in the shallow end of small talk, your mind is more like a deep-sea submersible. It's just not designed for the shallows. It's built to go deep, to explore, to find the hidden treasures of meaning, and to forge those really powerful, authentic connections. Don't ever see it as a limitation. See it as your superpower. So, as we wrap things up here, I want to leave you with this one question to mull over. Knowing that your energy is best spent on what's real and what's meaningful, what conversation are you going to intentionally choose to have today? Who are you going to connect with on that deeper level? The choice is yours.